been called one of the best known, unknown composers in the industry. Can you tell me, what that means and how this term describes your work?
And unknown in the sense that...
Anonymous.
Right, anonymous, in the sense that my music is on TV all the time. I'm very well known in the industry, but outside of the industry, based on the amount of music I've had on TV and on the radio, most people don't realize that's my music, and they don't associate my name with the music. So just like you might hear the Neptunes or Swiss Beats or Timbaland and all these cats, Kanye West on the radio, you know when you hear a Kanye West beat, you know when you hear a Timbaland beat, but you don't know when you hear a Wendell Haynes beat because number one, they don't put your name on it when you see the commercial, and number two, the sound is so diverse from all the different product brands, from doing a Lysol commercial to a car commercial to a soda commercial, asking for Latino music, pop music, classical music, orchestral music. You never know what you're going to get from me, and so there's no real time to make a specific name for yourself as a composer.
Yo-yos, only outlaws will have yo-yos.
Please, again, yo-yos are never the answer.
Give me the money!
Does this give you more freedom in which to express yourself musically because you can be so versatile across a wide range of things as opposed to a Kanye West who's known for doing just what he does?
Absolutely. It gives you a platform to actually create in all new ways. Every time you step to the keyboard, every time you pick up an instrument, you're having a different approach to that picture because you have to convey a different message with your music.
You made a conscious decision to go into advertising as opposed to, you were in the mainstream music world for a minute. Well, tell me about that. Tell me about your time there and why you decided to pull out and go to advertising.
I graduated from Brown University. I took a couple different jobs as a journalist, as a research assistant at a documentary film company, and then a specific job as a chair stacker for Spike Lee in Brooklyn. And the key to that was, I always felt like if I put myself in the environment of something great might happen. So that's what I did. Now, the idea was I was not satisfied with where I was. I had graduated at Brown University. I was also making music because I had done music in college, and I was continuing to make music, once I graduated. And I actually shot the rap demo with the rap group, and I went to Sony Music, and Sony Music said, hey, we don't like the rappers at all, but we love your music, and we're going to give you a shot to create some music for some rap groups. So I did remixes for the Hood Rats, which was a new group on the label at the time. Granddaddy IU, who was a classic artist, along with Big Daddy Kane and everyone. Cool G Rap. I did music for the Cool G Rap Nas remix. And what I realized was, after they paid me a couple checks, it wasn't so much that the checks were so little. It was the idea that I had become a beat maker, and I had already graduated from Brown University. I didn't feel like making beats or remixing music, whether it was a rapper or a singer or what. I didn't feel like that was a career. I felt like I was a remixer, and I actually could have done that without going to Brown University, and it just didn't feel like I had fallen into a career. So I said, you know what? Let me figure something else out, and that's what I did. And once I stacked those chairs for Spike Lee, I ran into an editor who was from the same hometown I was from, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and we struck it off. We hit it off very, very well, and he gave me an opportunity to be an apprentice editor at Spike Lee's 40 Acre and a Mule company.
What films did you work on?
I worked on Clockers, I worked on Girl 6, and then I was out.
What did you learn there that you were able to use in your music career?
Commitment and a mentality that do whatever is asked to be done.
First of all, what mediums do you work in? You work in radio, television, and internet? What mediums do you work in?
Yes, these days multimedia is taken over to the extent where brands want to be seen on television, on the radio, and on the internet. So you have, I guess they have print as well. So you have 4 different mediums of advertising, and that goes for television as well. Everyone wants to be every place, you know what I mean? So as a music supplier, I've got to be able to create music that fits each of those mediums.
Still works, no more try, hear that irks. Gotta touch it to believe, it's so smooth, now I'm free.
How many ads have you created the music for?
Right, I've been in the business about 15 years now, so I've scored over 700 spots.
Tell me a spot that people would recognize right off the bat. Can you?
Off the bat, I'm just going to go straight to the Heineken Bertha Scratch spot. I've done so many different spots with so many different styles, and people would like to stereotype a composer like myself maybe as someone who only does hip-hop, and the very spot, to answer your question, is a hip-hop spot. Although it was for Heineken, which was called Heineken the Birth of the Scratch. Jaguar was a great spot because I had already been a big fan of orchestral music. I had already been making my own style of music called Symphonica. Of doing that spot led to a whole influx of commercials that started to use this sound. You started to hear a lot of orchestral hip-hop spots, you know, driving, really driven orchestral dun 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 dun, and the bass beat would you know, some straight 90s 2000 hip-hop drums, you know, with this whole situation. And that became a trend in the industry, which we know advertising is all about following trends.
And you're working mostly with mainstream ad agencies, and they come to you and tell you to and ask you to do the music for this commercial, but you're not necessarily working with African American ad agencies, correct?
Right. The key to being a composer that can stay in the industry for years and years and years is to work with as many different types of agencies as possible. There are mainstream agencies that do the spots that are on national TV, and there are agencies that do spots for cable TV, and there are agencies that do spots for internet.
How do you compete with somebody, being who you are, with somebody like a Kanye West when you're vying for commercial?
Well, there's two answers to that. One, you can't compete with Kanye West, and two, you can beat Kanye West on any day. You know, I look at it like this. Put Kanye West over here, put Wendell here, I will smoke Kanye West if they don't know who's who. If it says Kanye on the beat, they're going to go with Kanye all day. But if they don't know who did the track and it just comes to them, this is what I do every day. I'm going to wax Kanye.
If people want to hear your music, they can go to your website. What is your website?
My website is called volitionsound.com. VOLITIONSOUND.com.